What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show, an April Fool's edition with 6 games on the NBA calendar and 2 fools to talk through the injury report. Myself and Mike Gallagher. Mike, how are you feeling about tonight's slate?
Pretty good. Just recorded a podcast with you and Claff talking underdog best ball. So good. I'm like amped up from talking about that. I'm almost 30 drafts deep. Claff's like 90 deep. So that was really fun. That'll be on your pod feeds pretty soon today. And then we did a premium one for the ETR gang. It was good, man. I'm so best ball ready, man. After winning the NFL one, I'm a full best ball bro now.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to talk through these contests. Always challenging to produce rankings that are good to use for the contest. So we talk through some of those differences as well, and really looking forward to it. FaZe in the chat asking about April Fools. Yeah, it's a thing in the U.S. I don't know, FaZe, where you're located, but I don't know if people are still doing it on internet jokes and pranks and whatnot. We are not intending to prank you in any way, shape, or form, though. We're just here for the injury information. Let's get to it. Let's start with Brooklyn and Indiana. On the Brooklyn side of things, Cam Johnson, Ben Simmons, Dennis Smith Jr., Tariq Whitehead, Jacob Gilyard, all listed out here. So what do we expect to see from Brooklyn tonight?
Should be the usual starting lineup. They've been going with Dorian Finney-Smith in the mix. And then we saw them run a little tighter at times. We've seen Mikal Bridges' minutes get pretty tight. Kevin Ollie's run his guys, pretty tight, which is great. Cam Thomas picking up a pretty big handling role as well. So, yeah, Noah Clowney's in the mix. We've seen a lot of Trendon Watford. Kevin Ollie really likes Trendon Watford, kind of out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, but his minutes have clearly turned it up. They're playing pretty big. Kevin Ollie likes a lot of size. So definitely expecting, high-end minutes in a pretty good matchup. Not as great earlier. The Pacers are playing better defense. But, yeah, plenty of fantasy goodness on a team that doesn't like to double.
Indiana side of things, they just have the G Leaguers listed questionable here, obviously still without Benedict Mathurin. So what are your notes on the Pacers?
Yeah, not much here. We've seen not big minutes. Rick Carlisle runs pretty deep, so not as much fantasy goodness here. But yeah, I think it's pretty much straightforward. Don't really have anything to add with these guys.
All right, let's go to Boston and Charlotte. Boston's late season schedule, man. Not only has it been super soft and loaded with back-to-backs, but I mean, gosh, the opponents, it seems like every game we've got like 16 plus point spreads for Boston. Their injury report has a lot of questionable tags. Kristaps Porzingis and Jaylen Brown, the most notable. Jaden Springer also listed questionable here without some of the G Leaguers listed. What are your expectations on KP and Jaylen Brown's availability tonight?
Yeah, it's just a management thing. Like you said, their schedule's soft. They've got pretty much the 1 seed locked up. We'll see if they care about the final seeding. But yeah, these guys aren't really like injured, but they could be getting managed. So don't have a great read. Obviously, if Brown sat, probably getting Sam Hauser in the mix. And then if KP was out, that would be out for the season.
Yeah, and even the final seeding will be locked up very shortly. They've got a 6-game lead on that, so they'll have everything locked up. Charlotte side of the equation, LaMelo Ball's done for the season. They're still without Seth Curry, Cody Martin. They've listed Alexei Pokusevski doubtful. They've also listed questionable tags on Vasilij Micic and Nick Richards. Davis Bertans is available, so that's good news. An already thin Charlotte team on the second night of back-to-back here, with a couple more questionable tags on players that have been playing heavy minutes for them, leaves them potentially really thin against the Celtics. What's your lean on what we see from Micic and Nick Richards with the questionable tags tonight?
Yeah, Micic got dinged up yesterday, so he could be game time. We'll see. We could get a lot of minutes out of Trey Mann. We'll see Bryce McGowan's get some more minutes as well. We saw a lot of Bertans yesterday, so he should be in the mix. He's got a gray mask, very superhero-esque. He looks like one for sure. Kidding. But yeah, other than that, just all Miles Bridges just plays so many minutes here. Matchups obviously really bad. But it could get softer if some of these Celtics do sit here. Grant Williams would play a pretty good bit here overall with Nick Richards questionable. So yeah, it could get thin. Steve Clifford is very Tibbsian. He runs real tight. Almost ran a 7-man yesterday. So the matchup again sucks. But hey, minutes are minutes, and Boston does give up some on-ball stuff sometimes.
Who are the guys that would be elevated here if we saw Micic or Richards unable to play? Because they, like you said, they just have been running so tight that we have to introduce new bodies. Like, who would get the opportunities in this instance? If Richards isn't able to go, I imagine Grant Williams starts, but who picks up minutes in that spot? And then if Micic is unable to go, I don't even know. I guess McGowan's would start there.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they going for minutes if they're without these guys?
Yeah, we'll probably see Marcus Bolden get in the mix. JT Thor could play a little bit. But yeah, we might see like 45 out of Miles Bridges. And Brandon Miller, if he avoids fouls, will play a ton. But Marcus Bolden, excuse me. We could maybe see, Leaky Black, Nick Smith Jr., these guys possibly get elevated in the rotation.
Messy. All right, let's go to the Memphis-Detroit game. On the Memphis side of things, they're without Desmond Bane, John Morant, Derrick Rose, Marcus Smart, Yuta Watanabe, Vince Williams, and Zaire Williams. They've got a doubtful tag on John Conchar, and Santi Aldama is questionable due to illness. Memphis, we know, has plenty of motivation towards the end of the season to lose games, as we've talked about with Memphis and Toronto as two of those teams. So what's your read on Santi Aldama and John Conchar? Conchar doubtful, seems very unlikely, but Santi Aldama with the questionable tag tonight.
Yeah, could see Santi missing for sure. They've been sitting guys out. His illness tag, so I don't want to have a great read there. They would start Jake LaRavia. We saw him start the last game for Santi, so it will be the same starting lineup there. Scottie Pippen looks to be pretty locked and loaded. They did use Jordan Goodman. I think he only has 5 games left now, so we'll see if they possibly keep those games count down. They do have Xavier Simpson on the team, so he maybe would get in the mix as well. But there's definitely a chance that Goodwin does sit, which would, obviously be bad for him, but that could thin it out a little bit for Scottie Pippen. I mentioned Xavier Simpson and those guys, but they've got pretty good front court depth. Brandon Clark's playing a pretty surprising amount. He's been playing consistently in the 20s. So nice to see after the torn Achilles, almost 12 months removed there.
All right, Detroit side of things, Cade Cunningham, questionable left knee injury management. Simone Fontecchio out. Quentin Grimes out. Marcus Sasser, questionable upper respiratory illness. And they're, of course, without Isaiah Stewart, Asar Thompson, Stanley Amude, and then Taj Gibson is doubtful. So the guards with the Q tags here, what's your read on who's available for Detroit tonight?
Yeah, Cade's been unlimited. They've been playing him with this Q tag through it. Monty Williams actually subbed him in 3 minutes earlier than he wanted. We saw him get to 33, 37, scored 33 points. So great matchup. The Memphis guards are pretty bad defensively, and Memphis's defense overall has been suffering. They're like bottom 10 over the last month. So good spot for him. We saw Jalen Duren pop off in the dream matchup. Again, like the Grizzlies front court hasn't been nearly as good. So Duren and Cunningham, if he goes, could be in a good spot. Obviously, if Cade doesn't play and Sasser can go, that would be good for Ivy, Sasser, and those guys. But could see a little bit of Chimezie Metu and Tucson Awoma on those guys. But it could be a pretty good Cade spot if he can go. But again, if he's in there, he's not limited at all.
All right, Portland and Orlando. Portland listing Jeremy Grant doubtful once again, as is Justin Minaya. They have out tags on Shaden Sharp, Anthony Simons, Matisse Thybulle, Tumani Kamara, Malcolm Brogdon. That is a lot of forward depth that they are short on. What are your expectations for what we see from Portland tonight?
Yeah, not great for Tumani Kamara. He's going to be out for a bit, I think the season actually. They'll continue to start Jabari Walker. And then, Chris Murray's playing a ton. DeAndre Ayton should be in the mix. Scoot, we saw him get the minutes. We've seen a great role, but fouls, turnovers, just playing so bad. And then DeWan Benton, making a late run for his 6th man of the year. Kidding. But, pretty thin for this team. So you could get some pretty high minutes. Matchup is horrible. Atlanta first in defense since the break. So, like we talked about, some teams like Charlotte, right? Charlotte, Portland, tight rotations, but bad offenses. So it's a bit of a trade-off there, but could pay off. And maybe they do get hot shooting.
All right, onto the Orlando side. Caleb Houston listed questionable here with right ankle soreness. What are your notes on the Magic, who do list their G Leaguers available today, which is notable because they're usually not listed available. It is the second night of back-to-back here. They had a big blowout win yesterday, but Kevon Harris, Jet Howard, Traveling Queen, all listed available tonight. So what are you looking for from Orlando?
Not too much to add. It should be the same starting lineup that we've been seeing. Obviously, really good matchup for Franz Wagner. He should be in a pretty good spot. Good matchup for Wendell Carter Jr. as well. So, very little to add with these guys.
All right, let's move to The Atlanta-Chicago game, which is kind of, a big playoff game tonight in terms of who would potentially get home court advantage in that matchup of the 9-10 seeds. But on the Atlanta side, Jalen Johnson listed questionable. He was considered present and available at shoot around, so it's sounding optimistic on him. They're still without Onyeka Okongwu and Trae Young and obviously Sadiq Bey. Kobe Buffkin also listed questionable here with the left big toe sprain. The big toe, not the great toe. Shout out Dank. What are your thoughts here on the Hawks availability for tonight?
Yeah, can I bring my DeAndre Hunter stuff back? With Jalen Johnson questionable, sounds like he's going to go. I think they got to start him, right? So I think DeAndre Hunter starts with Jalen Johnson. It sounds like he's going to go after shoot around, as you mentioned. So obviously Bogdan, great matchup. Their biggest catch and shoot guy. We know we love catch and shoot guys against the Bulls. So I'm expecting DeJounte, Bogdan, Hunter, Jalen Johnson, and Capella to get some minutes there. We'll see if they go small. We saw a little bit of that Jalen Johnson center stuff. V's been playing really well, so I think that's another way to carve out minutes. So we'll see if Bruno, who's also been playing well, could be cut down a little bit if they did play smaller. Bulls are pretty big, though, so I kind of think it's a little unlikely. But, yeah, great. It would be great to see Jalen Johnson back in the lineup.
Chicago side, they have probable tags on Ayo Dosunmu and Alex Caruso. Those are the notable injury situations there. It sounds like both are good to go. We'll note that the Ayo tag is due to an upper respiratory illness. The Caruso tag still that left ankle. What are your notes on the Bulls?
Yeah, repeat tags should be good. They were unaffected with these tags last time, so it should be full go. We've seen Caruso play a pretty good bit. Had a career high 7 3-pointers against the Wolves, but yeah, same situation here. Javonte Green still kind of locked and loaded for minutes with that pretty much locked in 9-man rotation that they're running right now.
Yeah, 21 points on 8 shots and no free throws is pretty good. That's a pretty good accomplishment for Alex Caruso. Won't see too many games more efficient than that. All right, Phoenix and New Orleans, last game of the slate to talk through. Phoenix, the only injury on the injury report there is Damian Lee, who's listed out. This game is big. Every game for Phoenix at this point is pretty big from a playoff seeding perspective. They are 2 games back of the Pelicans, who are currently the 6th seed, the Suns, the 8th seed. So hashtag biggest game of the season, as many of them will be for Phoenix from here on out. What are your expectations for the Suns?
Yeah, Vogel's pissed, man. In the presser he gave after the OKC beatdown without SGA, he was not happy. He talked about he basically called out Lou Dort for flopping. It was kind of in poor taste, but I digress. So yeah, they got to play these guys, man. Like Booker could play like 40, Durant could play 40. They've got no margin of error right now, so expecting pretty tight in a matchup that's not great. The Pelicans are first in pick and roll handle or defense overall, so it's not going to be easy. I expect Herb to get Booker, and then they might put Zion on Durant, so I actually almost covered Boyd Durant. But yeah, we're talking a lot about motivation and tight rotations. Suns are they have potentially a good offense against a good defense, but could see a lot of minutes out of pretty effective scorers in Durant and Booker.
Yeah, and on the New Orleans side, this is also a very important game, obviously, for them because they're trying to stay out of the play-in and direct competition here to be able to do that. They're without Brandon Ingram and Jose Alvarado tonight. Dyson Daniels not listed on the injury report, so should be available. Cody Zeller still available with his face mask. What are your notes here on the Pelicans?
Yeah, Dyson Daniels returned over the weekend. We saw him, so he should be in the non-CJ minutes. We'll see if they overlap him a little bit to guard Booker and take a little bit off of Herb Jones's plate. But yeah, again, like look at these minutes, man. 40 for Zion, career high regulation minutes for Zion over the weekend. Herb played 40, CJ 37, Trae 39. They are not messing around here, as you mentioned. They are gunning to potentially move up to the 4-5 game and out of the play-in. So yeah, this is going to be, this is not the, the Memphis Detroit is the Mike Gallagher bad basketball game of the night. This is the, I don't know, do you want to take this? The Drew Dinkmeyer good basketball game of the night. I
don't want my brand associated with the Phoenix Suns in basketball because they cannot be relied upon for good basketball. But yeah, I'll take the future moniker. And this was a game that they were kind of chasing too, right? They're going down 15 points going into the fourth quarter, and this game I don't think ever got within like 8. And they were still running these guys minutes up there in a spot that seemed like you could pull back a little bit. So notable for New Orleans right now that they're really taking every game like a playoff game in terms of the value of it for the standings, as Dallas has leapfrogged them now with their 7-game winning streak. So pretty important game here for New Orleans in terms of trying to push further back Phoenix. And obviously Sacramento just lost Malik Monk, so they're a little bit thinner as well. So we might start, if New Orleans wins tonight, might start seeing that playoff picture sharpen a little bit in the Western Conference. Okay, that'll do it for this edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. As always, we appreciate your support for this show and this channel. If you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, we are in pursuit of 5,000 subscribers by the end of the NBA season. We're about 150 or so away, so we're closing in on that number. Appreciate your support in doing so. Let your friends know about our channel and the content that we're providing here, and hopefully get them to subscribe as well. Really, really like that quite a bit. All your support, really, really enjoy it. So thank you for that. If you're interested in our premium content, which Mike Gallagher noted when we came on, we just recorded a premium podcast talking about underdog playoff best ball contests and how to approach them. There will be a free explanation of the contest and how to approach them on the podcast feed that you can find wherever you get your podcast, but premium behind the paywall going up later tonight, most likely. It's in editing now, but we talked through in-depth strategies from different draft spots, different team combinations, all those things that you need to know to draft your playoff best ball teams. We've also got all the DFS content going, props, product, all that stuff. Myself and Sam Jaffarina will be behind the paywall at 5 o'clock Eastern. So head on over to establishedrun.com/subscribe-MBA for more details on our premium product offerings there. And of course, if you are enjoying this free content and you want to keep it free, the best way to do so is to smash that like button and feed that algorithm. You smash the like button, it feeds the algorithm, allows us to feed our families, and allows us to feed you the NBA injury information and analysis you need each and every day to set your DFS lineups, your season-long lineups, and make your spread bets and your prop bets. So smash that like button, feed that algorithm. Nom, 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 nom. We'll see you next time.